Reclamation of Independence by Thomas Jefferson, Dr. Seuss, Mark Twain, and Charles Bernard Bartholomew Seussian Safari Olson. When in the course of turtle events it becomes necessary for a turtle, no matter how small, to dissolve the political bands which have connected her with a government, no matter how large, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which she is entitled, a decent respect to the opinions of turtle kind requires that she declare the causes which impel her to the separation. On the faraway island of Salamasand, Yertle the turtle was king of the pond. A nice little pond. It was clean, it was neat, the water was warm, there was plenty to eat. The turtles had everything turtles might need, and they were all happy, quite happy indeed. They were until Yertle, the king of them all, decided the kingdom he ruled was too small. "I'm ruler," said Yertle, "of all that I see, but I don't see enough. That's the trouble with me. With this stone for a throne, I look down on my pond, but I cannot look down on the places beyond. This throne that I sit on is too low down. It ought to be higher," he said with a frown. "If I could sit high, how much greater I'd be. What a king! I'd be ruler of all I could see." So Yertle the Turtle King lifted his hand, and Yertle the Turtle King gave a command. He ordered 9 turtles to swim to his stone, and using these turtles, he built a new throne. He made each turtle stand on another one's back, and he piled them all up in a 9-turtle stack. And then Yertle climbed up. He sat down on the pile. What a wonderful view! He could see most a mile. "All mine," Yertle cried. "Oh, the things I now rule. I'm king of a cow, and I'm king of a mule. I'm king of a house, and what's more beyond that, I'm king of a blueberry bush and a cat. I'm Yertle the Turtle, oh marvelous me, for I am the ruler of all that I see." And all through that morning he sat there up high, saying over and over, "A great king am I," until long about noon. Then he heard a faint sigh. "What's that?" snapped the king, and he looked down the stack, and he saw at the bottom a turtle named Mac, just a part of his throne. And this plain little turtle looked up and he said, "Beg your pardon, King Yertle. I've pains in my back and my shoulders and knees. How long must we stand here, your majesty, please?" Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be abolished for light and transient causes. And accordingly, all experience hath shown that turtle kind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right ourselves by abolishing the governments to which we are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce us under absolute despotism, it is our right, it is our duty to abolish such government. Such has been my patient sufferance, and such is now my necessity. Whenever any government becomes destructive, it is our right to abolish it. "Silence!" the king of the turtles barked back. "I'm king, and you're only a turtle named Mac. You stay in your place while I sit here and rule. I'm king of a cow, and I'm king of a mule. I'm king of a house, and a bush, and a cat. But that isn't all. I'll do better than that. My throne shall be higher," his royal voice thundered. So pile up more turtles. I want about 200. Turtles, more turtles, he bellowed and brayed. And the turtles way down in the pond were afraid. They trembled, they shook, but they came, they obeyed. From all over the pond they came swimming by dozens. Whole families of turtles with uncles and cousins, and all of them stepped on the head of poor Mac. One after another, they climbed up the stack. The fact is that the government, like a highwayman, says to a man, your money or your life. And many, if not most, taxes are paid under the compulsion of that threat. The government does not indeed waylay a man in a lonely place, spring upon him from the roadside, and holding a pistol to his head, proceed to rifle his pockets. But the robbery is nonetheless a robbery on that account, and it is far more dastardly and shameful. The highwayman takes solely upon himself the responsibility, danger, and crime of his own act. He does not pretend that he has any rightful claim to your money, or that he intends to use it for your own benefit. He does not pretend to be anything but a robber. He has not acquired impudence enough to profess to merely be a protector, and that he takes men's money against their will merely to enable him to protect those infatuated travelers who feel perfectly able to protect themselves or do not appreciate his peculiar system of protection. He is too sensible a man to make such professions as these. Furthermore, having taken your money, he leaves you as you wish him to do. He does not persist in following you on the road against your will, assuming to be your rightful sovereign on account of the protection he affords you. He does not keep protecting you by commanding you to bow down and serve him, by requiring you to do this and forbidding you to do that, by robbing you of more money as often as he finds it for his interest or pleasure to do so, and by branding you as a rebel, a traitor, and an enemy to your country, and shooting you down without mercy if you dispute his authority or resist his demands. He is too much of a gentleman to be guilty of such impostures and insults and villainies as these. In short, he does not, in addition to robbing you, attempt to make you either his dupe or his slave. Then Yertle the turtle was perched up so high he could see 40 miles from his throne in the sky. Hooray, shouted Yertle, I'm king of the trees, I'm king of the birds, and I'm king of the bees. I'm king of the butterflies, king of the air. Ah, me, what a throne, what a wonderful chair. I'm Yertle the turtle, oh marvelous me, for I am the ruler of all that I see.
Hey, good morning. How are you doing?
Then again from below in the great heavy stack came a groan from that plain little turtle named Mac. Your Majesty, please, I don't like to complain, but down here below we are feeling great pain. I know up on top you are seeing great sights, but down at the bottom we too should have rights. We turtles can't stand it. Our shells will all crack. Besides, we need food. We are starving, groaned Mac. The history of the federal government of the United States of America is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. Our federal government harasses and incarcerates turtles for peaceful, voluntary, non-violent behavior. Our federal government detains turtles indefinitely without trial or charges. Our federal government has created a large and unknown number of spy agencies which spy upon our turtles and indeed upon all the turtles of the world. Our federal government has constructed hundreds of military bases around the globe. Our federal government has erected a multitude of offices and sent forth swarms of officers to harass our turtles and eat out their substance. Our federal government spends inexorably more and ever more, its spending being the truest measure of its size and oppression. To finance its ever-increasing spending, our federal government inflates the money supply and taxes and borrows more and ever more, with no limit to its voracious appetite. "You hush up your mouth," howled the mighty King Yertle. "You've no right to talk to the world's highest turtle. I rule from the clouds, over land, over sea. There's nothing, no, nothing that's higher than me." But while he was shouting, he saw with surprise that the moon of the evening was starting to rise up over his head in the darkening skies. "What's that?" snorted Yertle. "Say, what is that thing that dares to be higher than Yertle the king? I shall not allow it. I'll go higher still. I'll build my throne higher. I can and I will. I'll call some more turtles. I'll stack 'em to heaven. I need about 5,607. Our federal government has become a cowardly, rotten, degraded, mischievous, rotten, and unspeakable nasty nest of dynastic departments with brainless battalions of bookkeeping, pencil-sharpening strumpets and whole regiments of ignorant, characterless, chuckle-headed consuls who will, in their own good time, bring destruction upon this broad-shouldered fabric of ours. But as Yertle the Turtle King lifted his hand and started to order and give the command, that plain little turtle below in the stack, that plain little turtle whose name was just Mac, decided he'd taken enough, and he had. And that plain little lad got a little bit mad, and that plain little Mac did a plain little thing. He burped. "Therefore, I, a peaceful turtle, by the authority inherent in peaceful turtles everywhere, do solemnly publish and declare that I am, and of right ought to be, a free and independent turtle. I am absolved from all allegiance to the federal government of the United States of America. All political connection between me and that government is, and ought to be, totally dissolved. As a free and independent turtle, I have the right to live my life in peace and to do all other acts and things that an independent turtle may of right do." And Yertle the Turtle, the king of the trees, the king of the air and the birds and the bees, the king of a house and a cow and a mule. Well, that was the end of the Turtle King's rule. For Yertle, the king of all Salamashand, fell off his high throne and fell plunk in the pond. And today, the great Yertle, that marvelous he, is king of the mud. That is all he can see. And the turtles, of course, all the turtles are free, as turtles and maybe all creatures should be.
Oh, that's
Thank you.
very kind of you.
Thank you.